Diamond Pearl generation. Now, I can agree with that to an extent. However, I don't know about you, but originally going through the generations as they were,
Mm.
Diamond and Pearl got me back in,
Yeah.
and it was, to me, it felt like such a breath of fresh air. It felt so good to be back because they seemed to do everything right. The starters were great.
Hmm.
The story was compelling enough, and decent enough for what we had been coming to expect of, as far as world or global or galactic domination from the evil villains. But everything was rather balanced, and it was very pretty. Uh, so it has a very special place in my heart for that generation. And I got to thinking, boy, I liked X and Y because it was new, and I really liked the character customization. I really liked being able to make the character my own,
Mm.
as opposed to the stock character that you do get. Are you a boy or a girl?
Mm.
Okay, great. You can't do anything else. Uh, and I liked being able to do that, and I hope Game Freak and Nintendo get to be able to go back to that sort of player freedom going for to the next installment, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I can't remember.
So
I remember reading like they had some weird reason for not including the clothes customization and the character customization in Ruby Sapphire. I forget what it was. I just remember reading it and being like, "This is not a good reason." Like, you've got the engine built. Like, do you just not
yeah,
want to? Would you just not have a modeler that's willing to design Cohen-esque clothes? Is that the problem? But no, I mean, like, I want a Gen 4 remake because I mean, I was the same way. I think everybody roughly our age was the same way. We all fell off during Gen 3, which is why I was excited to play the Gen 3 remakes because for me, this story is completely fresh, apart
yeah,
from, spoilers that you get in the 10, 12 years since it's come out and being active in
right,
the fandom again. But, like, Gen 4 deserves a remake if for nothing else, just because it's what brought us back. Like it's what
yeah,
brought all the original fans back to the franchise. The special physical split. It had the nostalgia aspect of a lot of those Gen 1 and 2 Pokemon got new evolutions like Electivire, things like that.
hmm
Um, so, and I would argue that it's the one that's most deserving of a remake. Although, that said, I don't want one next year.
yeah. I don't want one next year. I can wait a while for it
I don't
because,
even want
as
one
far
in
as
2017. I like at earliest 2019 is when I want a Gen 4 remake. At absolute earliest. I need some time to recharge.
that would be that, yeah, well over a 10-year anniversary for it, because I think it came out, what, '07.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I believe spring '07. And I, I'll give. I've said it. I'm sure I've said it before on previous installments of the show. But that generation, Nintendo did just about a hard reset on everything.
Yeah.
They had let they had let the anime kind of pitter out a little bit and let it not necessarily die, but they refreshed the anime,
Mm.
they refreshed the game, they got rid of the noise and the junk that was kind of around it, and got back to basics, having fun, creating in the anime, at least developing the rivalry, advancing the
Yeah.
story, and coinciding with the game and letting the game kind of play along with it.
Yeah.
Black and white, I can like when I first started watching Black and White, the first episode, I was probably it beat red from anger with it, because I felt so absolutely lied to or misled.
Mm.
And I don't know why that was the case, but just was the case. I felt so lied to. And I don't know about you, but I feel like Game Freak misplaced the people and the ambiance and the atmosphere of the Unova region with the Kalos region. Specifically, the way people talk. They talk, for some reason, I don't know why. I get Unova is supposed to be North America.
Mm.
However, they all speak with a French. There's a lot more French influence in the Unova region versus the Kalos region,
Which
which
is
is a little bit
basically
more like
France,
Europe.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, can we flip this whole thing around and let's get this whole time space thing, kind of going in the right direction where it's supposed to be, so I don't have the sort of cognitive dissonance of, yeah, I'm playing the American one, even though they're all speaking French and saying très bien, even though no one in America says très bien.
That was mainly in Nimbasa, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of like the culinary stuff, and while
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll give you
I,
that.
it was little things here and there, but it was enough for me to kind of be like, this isn't what America's like. Apparently, someone didn't pay attention in their internship over here, or they lied.
Well, I mean, like
So,
when you have Gen 6 to compare against, though, like the French influence in that one is way more extreme.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, just
yes,
from
yes.
particularly in the atmosphere and things like that. But
Wait a minute. I'm trying to think. Even in black and white. Oh, wait, or was that no platinum? I guess your character
well,
did wear a
I mean,
beret.
keep in mind that Black and White brought us a gym leader who was a cowboy oil tycoon.
Yeehaw!
Who, and incidentally, he was my favorite gym leader that gen. I loved that guy. I thought he was great. So,
Oh man.
so over the top.
Go big or go home,
Yeah,
just like a regular oil baron.
yeah, no, he was great. Forget his name now, but he was good.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't even know. I can't even remember who he was.
He was like the fifth leader. He was the ground type leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, had the excadrills.
Oh man, yeah. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Oh boy. Uh, Anything else? It really kind of does it for me.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I've been so busy with work and wedding planning and things like that. My media intake has been low, but it's been enough to have high enough recommendations like on Unbreakable and the Snyder Batmans and things like that to be like, we need to record.
Yes. Oh yeah. There was an hour special this past week of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Oh,
on
don't tell me
Nickelodeon.
about things I can't watch.
I know. I'm sorry. They're back in New York, so they're off the farm. They're back in New York, um, and it's still good. I'm thoroughly impressed with the quality that they've been able to maintain,
Mm.
even with some of the breaks. And it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, is there one recording this week? No. Okay, next time. That's fine. Um, and for Transformers fans, if you happen to enjoy the Transformers Prime and Beast Hunter series, which I very much did, really good stuff there. There is a follow-up series coming. I think I don't want to say it's another reboot. It's not really a reboot. It's a continuation. A lot of similar voice actors returning, so it is continuing. It's, though, I believe, all going to be based on Cybertron.
Mm.
So it's coming. Spring 2015 was the last I heard on what was. Oh shoot! It wasn't. I think at one point it was Boomerang, and it was Hub. Now it's Discovery Family, I believe,
Mm.
is the station or network, I should say. So it is coming back. I just looked at its Wikipedia page to see if anything else had happened with Prime, and yes, it is continuing. So don't let your hearts be troubled there, because yes, it will be returning. So that's a good thing, as far as I'm concerned. Because from what I'm told, that last Transformers game was an absolute, just an abomination of the Transformers license,
Wait, which one?
which is what it was releasing with Age of Extinction,
Oh, okay,
and
so
it didn't.
not Fall of Cybertron because I've been pick that
No,
up.
no, War and Fall, or whichever way it is. Yeah, I think War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, still fantastic
Okay.
games.
Yeah, I have War for Cybertron. I haven't picked up Fall yet, but
I believe that's the case. Either way, yeah, the games released several years ago. Those Transformers games were fantastic.
yeah.
Nothing licensed by the movies, so stay away from that stuff, and you will be fine. All right. Any special mentions? Thank yous.
I have a couple things. Yeah, so as long as we're talking about licensed games, so the Transformers thing, I did write an editorial about making a good Ninja Turtles game and how that could be achieved. And I believe that George over at Press Pause Radio is going to post that as a guest editorial on his site in the next couple weeks here. So if you head over to presspauseradio.com, that'll probably be up, I don't know, soonish.
Excellent.
So that's going up there. Also, uh, I just got my confirmation that Lonely Robot Comics is going to appear at Indie PopCon in Indianapolis.
Excellent.
So that'll be fun. We're talking about trying to do some either maybe like a panel or even if not a panel, we're going to see about doing all the preliminary stuff for the first issue rather of a new series that we want to do over the course of the weekend. So we can kind of have some like, hey, this is how you make an indie comic kind of a thing. So that should be fun. I had something else, and I forgot what it was. Oh, the last thing. I've been toying with a script for a new webcomic that I've been wanting to put out, and I'll talk about it on the show when I actually start it. But it's going to be a rewrite of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 in comic format. So I have most of the first rough chapter written out, and it's going to take place. It's going to be in continuity with the first two movies and the fourth movie. So I have the first chapter just about totally written. Once I finish writing that chapter, I'm going to actually start putting pages into production because I'm just itching to work on this. But I'll be working on that alongside the next issue for the Redeemers and the first issue of this new comic that we're going to do all the preliminary stuff for during Indie PopCon. So I'm going to be super busy, but it's going to be fun. So
Excellent. I actually did take your recommendation. That reminds me. Now, I can dig back the memory banks. And I did go back and watch the How to Fix Episode 1 and 2 of Star Wars
oh yes, on
videos that
Related
you
Media.
did. Yes. Absolutely fantastic. My jaw was on the floor. I was practically crying because that is what I want. That's what I want. That's what I choose to believe. That is exactly what I choose to believe is what episode 1 and 2 were.
It's
I
your
have to check
headcanon now, right?
Yes, it is. I do have to go back. I want to double back and see if they have updated for episode 3. I know he did say, I'm working on it. Relax.
Yeah, he hasn't updated it yet. I follow him on a couple
Okay.
different social medias, and every so often he gets a little like somebody poking at him, just like, when's episode 3 coming out? It'll be done when it's done. The fact that he's taking as long to do this as he
It's a
has
good
is,
thing.
it shows he's approaching it with more care than the Lucas camp ever did. So
Yes, and if you haven't watched, other recommendation, if you haven't watched Star Wars Rebels, it got real. I believe the first season, I don't know if they were doing part 1 or in part 2, I think there were a total of maybe 13 to 15 episodes in the season. It gets real. The last episode, I can't recall if it was an hour long. Oh boy, they give you such a treat. It's not even funny. It's fantastic. It's really, really great stuff. I cannot recommend getting through the later seasons of the Clone Wars and starting immediately into Star Wars Rebels. It's the Star Wars that we've longed for, folks.
I know Clone Wars is up on Netflix's Rebels.
Not yet, and I don't think it will because it's part of Disney, and Disney is starting to kind of, it seems to be pulling its stuff from Netflix and going proprietary. But
At least the newer stuff, yeah.
I think it's all on their on-demand app. I think Disney XD has an on-demand app.
Of course it does.
Yeah, so everything else, yeah. So, and revenue, advertising revenue, that's what it's all about these days. So look for it there, and it's really, really good stuff. Look for marathons on Disney XD. They re-air several episodes, I want to say Monday nights and Friday or Saturday nights. So you can find it, and it is out there, folks.